Hello, and welcome to the 32nd edition of Trending Tuesdays, brought to you by Kay Davis in the Community Foundation. Let's give it up for our live audience and you, our online audience today. You know, it's a really, really special day today. We're dealing with the red, white, and blue, right? The love of the red, white, and blue. And here today on the Trending Tuesdays, we're going to actually be saluting our veterans. What an honor it is to have those who are here in the studio with us on today. We're going to be welcoming them and introducing them to you in just a moment. But actually, to stand in the gap, with them standing in the gap for all of the men and women around this nation, countless of men and women around this nation who have served our country, and I must say, have served our country well. Let's give it up for this special edition show on today. Yes. As we lead into the show, I would like to just lead into it with the fact as we begin to pay tribute to those who have actually served on our behalf. You know, service is not done unless it's done on the behalf of somebody else. If it's not done on behalf or for the behalf of someone else, it's not a service. And so we want to kind of reflect a little bit. They rose at dawn. That's in the wee hours of the night for many, and then for others, it's before the sun rises. They rose to a sound that many of us cannot even fathom, because while we were asleep in our beds, probably trying to count the stars or the sheep, whichever one you wanted to be, you know, as they say, they were preparing to do for us what we didn't know or even had the thought that they were doing for us. So they rose when freedom called, men and women who carried the flag, not for fame, but for faith in a nation's promise. Through foreign fields and distant shores, across oceans and generations, they stood, they served, they sacrificed. Today, we give special tribute to every veteran, known and unknown, whose courage has safeguarded the heartbeat of this nation. To you, we salute. Your service is a living portrait of patriotism, written not in ink, but in honor. We salute you. Today, Mr. Dotson, Mr. Johnson, we salute you. My orientation has told me that only another soldier can salute a soldier. So I won't do the hand motions for those of you who are wondering why she's continuously saying, we salute you, but she's not saluting. But in our hearts, we respect, we revere, we honor you and your fellow soldier persons, the men and the women. Thank you so much. Thank you. If you're a soldier and you're tuning in with us, you've connected with us, or if you know a soldier, why don't you put their name in the chat right now? Let's salute our soldiers. I need to see it going in the comment boxes right now. We salute you. We honor you. Thank you. Yes, we do owe thanks to them. Let's give it up right now. Let's give it up here in the studio. Let's give it up. Let's give it up, our online audience. And let's take a moment in silence to salute and thank our God for what he allowed them to do on our behalf in serving our country. Amen. Amen. Well, Mr. Johnson and Mr. Dotson, both are my elders, and one is my real elder, that Mr. Dotson is here with us. I want you all to introduce yourselves on today. Let us know, tell us about what branch of service you served, what wars you served in, just how you helped to defend, protect, and uplift the rights that we have here in America.
My name is Samuel Dotson, and I served in two branches. I served in the Air Force and the Army, and I was in the Korean War.
Let's give it up for Mr. Dotson. And let's hear from you, Mr. Robert Johnson.
Yes, before I begin, on behalf of those of us who served, I'd like to thank you for your gracious introduction. It was very moving, and I know we all appreciate that. Frequently, we're not always appreciated historically, but that was outstanding.
Yes.
My name is Robert Johnson. I graduated from college with a degree in psychology, sociology in 1968. I joined the military, the Army, thinking that I was going to be in the medical corps, hopefully in an office, and didn't have to worry about combat. Well, 3 months later, I'm in Vietnam with a backpack and a rifle, and I was a combat medic. So that began my military career.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for serving, putting yourself in the position to be wounded for others. It sounds like somebody else in another book that I know about. So I want to say thank you to you. Again, let's give it up for our veterans that's here representing veterans around the nation. And as we have seen and heard, our veterans have served among the brave, although history has not always been fair to them. But today, we're making history, and we're making our mark in history with the Kay Davis in the Community show, Trending Tuesday, saluting veterans. Thank you all once again. And we're going to move on because we have a beautiful queen sitting right here with me today. And she's here because we're going to move swiftly into what I want to share with you today, that is history that was made right here in Houston, Texas. Right, if you know where Memorial Park is, then you know where this happening actually happened. You just don't know that it happened like it did there. Okay, so but we're going to take you to some reflections of Camp Logan on today. And with me right here on the set is Miss Celeste Bradford Walker. Did I say it in the correct order?
You said it in the correct order. It's Bedford.
Bedford, I'm sorry.
No
Bedford.
problem.
Thank you so much, Miss Bedford. And let's talk about a little bit about Camp Logan, because some of what we heard here is just like making the picture really blossom in our minds today. Let's talk about Camp Logan, the documentary. I like the documentary movie.
Oh, yeah.
Because it teaches so much.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm so proud and thankful to Danette and the Ensemble Theater for being responsible for the docu-film. Because with the docu-film, if a group or theater or an organization are not able to pull together a live performance, we can always offer them the docu-film so history goes on.
Yes.
So I'm really grateful for that. These two guys are a hard act to follow. Let me tell you that. Now, I came to it to the Camp Logan story by way of being a storyteller. Camp Logan was a story that I'd always heard as a child growing up. And I was fortunate because so many people really didn't know the Camp Logan story and still don't. Really, they don't. But it just so happened that the people that I was raised around, my father and my grandfather and my elderly neighbors, they all knew about the incident. So whenever any kind of racial unrest happened in the city, they would talk about it, and they talk about Camp Logan all the time, Camp Logan. So when I became older and started to, I'd written about 3 or 4 plays. I thought about Camp Logan, and I was intrigued, by the incident, and pursued it. I researched. Did most of the research was oral research with people in the neighborhood, and I researched and then wrote the play, then took it on tour. And many people say that the tour raised their consciousness about the Camp Logan riot because, as I said, many people still don't know about it right here in Houston. I'm telling you, I had a hard time, but I was fortunate in that I knew people who knew about it, but otherwise, it was very difficult.
I actually didn't learn about it until the exoneration.
Okay, good.
And so it's a story, and it's really shameful for me because I went to church.
I know it.
Right down the street from where this happened, and I understood better why our church had to move from State and Hemp Hill to Fagan Street, which was right off of Shepherd, between Shepherd and Westcott. But then we still faced the racial tendencies and tension there. While I was growing up, wonder why we couldn't just be so free playing even in Memorial Park. You didn't really just go to the pool at Memorial Park.
No, ma'am.
As well. You had to go some other places to really enjoy yourself. And so it became very relevant as to why things were the way they were. And so that Camp Logan actually is a story that we cannot allow to be erased from our history. We talk about the textbooks, different messages and information being erased or taken out of textbooks today, right? But we often don't tell our own stories. So when we don't tell our own stories, someone else can paint a narrative the way that they want to paint it, or they can just completely delete it or omit it, right? Let's look at the clip from Camp Logan.
Good evening, folks. Good evening, folks. Good evening. I'm Captain Harris Selke, 24th Infantry Company I. Colonel Gentry has briefed you on the battalion in general, and I'm here to tell you something about my men and our company in particular. For the past 11 months, these men have been stationed in the desert of New Mexico, chasing Pancho Villa. And let me tell you something. After being out there in that desert, feels mighty good to be here in this good old Houston rain. I know the idea of 654 colored troops being stationed here in Houston got some of you white citizens concerned, but I want to assure you there's no need for alarm with these boys. I mean, I ought to know. I've served with colored soldiers every year I've been in the Army. And I can truthfully say these men are the best of their race. They're intelligent, they're hardworking, and as disciplined as any white soldier I've seen. This battalion has a fine record. We pulled duty in the Indian Wars out west. We served in the Philippines and in the yellow fever camps in Cuba. And we went up the San Juan Hill with Teddy Roosevelt. Yes, sir, these men are Bearcat fighters, and I'm proud to serve with them. I understand some of you still remember the Brownsville incident of '09. But I want to assure you, that's just an isolated incident. There's over 10,000 colored soldiers in the regular Army. And for the most part, they're happy, cheerful, good-natured fellas who aren't looking to cause violence against any white civilians. So just set your mind at ease, folks, okay? We're looking forward to a very pleasant stay here in Houston. Sergeants, parade, rest. All right, Houston is a Jim Crow town, so you might run into a little hostility. But remember, our battle is not here in this muddy bayou town. It's overseas. Lieutenant Colonel Newman tried to get our orders changed, but he couldn't. So we're stuck here. Now, I want to make damn sure none of you hotheads cause any trouble in this town. And to help soothe the fears of the white civilians about any violence occurring with you, we're going to have some new rules and regulations in this camp. All right, first of all, only sentries on duty will be allowed to carry firearms. And they will not be allowed to load those firearms except in cases of an emergency, such as somebody trying to break into camp or somebody trying to steal supplies, which, of course, no white folks will be doing. You men will be divided up into 4 grades, but only the first 3 grades will be allowed to leave camp. So I don't have to worry about some trigger-happy soldier walking around these white civilians. Only soldiers with good conduct will be allowed into town. Is that understood? Yes, sir.
Wow. They wore the same uniform, swore the same oath, and carried the same flag, but yet was greeted with hostility by civilians. Wow. Let's roll on to clip 2.
It's coming down in buckets out there. I hope it's going to hit the town tonight. Look, I don't care if it's raining. Oh, shit, I'm going into town. Me too. If I got a paddle or canoe. Anyway, this rain looks good. After being stuck out there in the desert chasing Pancho D's ass. Well, you chased Pancho D? Oh, yeah. Me and Greeley was in the purge and special guard for a time. I'm the one who almost caught him. No, he's a real tough hombre. I come that close to catching on Pancho single-handed. Yeah, you believe that lie, you believe anything. Oh, hell, I did. You don't know. It was evening, boy. Long about dusk dark. And I was out patrolling for Mexican federales. Oh, my shit. Willie was not the only one out there. Yeah, we all had old Pancho dead. With these pretty new Springfield rifles. Ain't she a beaut? 30-aught caliber, battle sights, ladder sights up to 1,000 yards. Woo! Sweet Jesus. What a weapon. Yeah, well, I'm sure glad you said of Columbus, New Mexico. Oh, no, that place wasn't so bad. You know, them senoritas? Nah. Yeah, but 11 months of nothing but rock and sagebrush was starting to get to me. Hell, I forgot what a tree looked like. Damn a tree. What a color gal looked like. Me too. I got so sick of looking at Mexican faces and hearing talk I ain't had to understand. But tonight, I'm going to get my hands on a color girl. Woo, the blackest one I can find. Hey, that Selena show was crazy about, she ain't know a lick of English except I love your mother to mine. I love your mother to mine. Got all of that. Used to wear me out with that shit. Hell, I met her first. I don't know what she seen on you. You ugly. And you sure don't part with no face on. Well, I have to tell you my secret one day.
I want to bring into the show right now the attorney on the clemency for the 110 African American soldiers that we're speaking about at Camp Logan, Attorney Drew Brenner Beck, and with her, Commissioner Harris County, Rodney Ellis. Hello there. Welcome to the show. You both have been so instrumental in ensuring that our soldiers, and I say our soldiers because they were fighting for us and protecting us, that they were honored, or they are honored in the way that they should have been. That, and although they were tried and many of them were executed, many of them were charged, and things that their names were actually held in high esteem, and they were granted clemency for the things that they had been accused of. I'd like for you, Attorney Beck, to share with us what made you take on this case and what do you feel we gained from it?
I actually took the case on because it was a request from then Professor Jeff Korn at South Texas College of Law in Houston, who had been approached by attorney Claude Lemon and Angela, right, my mind is going blank, who was a descendant of Jesse Moore, who was one of the soldiers who was executed in December of 1917 as a result of the first trial. So they asked me to take on this kind of evaluation to determine whether the trials were actually fair under the law of 1917 and 1918. I mean, if you compare any trial to what would be necessary today, they're all going to be deficient. But we looked at it, were these soldiers actually given the due process and the rights that they were entitled to as soldiers in the United States Army in 1917? So we started to do research through the entire records of trial on all the appellate records, it took us over 5 years and numerous trips to the archives. I'm a veteran, Professor Korn is a veteran, Attorney Clyde Lemon is a veteran. So we had numerous veterans. You'll hear from John Haymond, who's also a veteran, who is a historian in our project. We had veterans across the country. We were in the middle of the COVID epidemic. So when the archives opened, for the couple of weeks they opened, we had veterans volunteer and go in to do archive research for us around the country. So this was very much soldiers working on clemency for soldiers.
Thank you so much for your work. Commissioner Ellis, I was there with you, and I was so glad and I'm honored to be there because I was well informed. Although I was pained, I was still inspired by the work that many gathered to do, as Attorney Beck just expressed to us. Tell us what this meant to you and for Harris County.
Well, first I want to say how proud I am of Kay Davis and her foundation for doing this. And Trending Tuesdays is just a staple in our community. And for all of the veterans who are online, and obviously the veteran on camera with me and those who are in the room, thank you all, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Dotson, and of course, Attorney Beck, for your service. I'm so proud of South Texas College of Law. And Clyde Lemon, in addition to the veterans, also, he was the head of the NAACP for many years. And obviously, they played a role in this. But the dean of the law school, you all, it was just phenomenal that you all would do this. But look, that exoneration of the 24th Infantry Regiment corrects one of the greatest injustices in U.S. military history. More than 100 Black soldiers were wrongfully convicted after that 1917 incident, which ought not be called a riot. They were defending themselves. 13 were executed without a trial. And I don't want to tell you too much about what you'll see when you see the movie, but this moment, what they did, what you all did, Attorney Beck and the others, that moment restores the honor and dignity for the men who served that country with courage, despite racism and segregation. And it took over a century of advocacy, research, and persistence to achieve justice, but we got there because of what you all did. And that's a testament to the power of truth and perseverance. For Houston, and I'll close on this, the story is deeply personal because it happened here.
Yes.
Recognizing it honors our city's history, acknowledges past wrongs, and strengthens our ongoing commitment to equity and justice, which we still don't have. We still have a long way to go in. You know, Kay, I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm just so proud of you. I think about you paying for that George Floyd statue, and every year around the birthday and anniversary of his death, I mean, he was another person who fell in that web of injustice and racism. But I'm just so glad to be here. And Attorney Beck, you just keep doing the great work you're doing. And that's why we need more lawyers who are veterans. We need more lawyers like you and your colleagues who did the work on this. But thank you all.
Yes, thank you all so much. Thank you, Attorney Beck and Commissioner Rodney Ellis. Thank you so much. And I'm so grateful for the fact that, time really cannot erase courage, right?
Right.
And truth, though it may be delayed, it will never die.
Yeah.
People want to cover it up, hide it, but the truth will always rise and prevail. Thank you so much for bringing the truth in what happened with these soldiers to the forefront. Now we can actually honor and celebrate them, and their families can live and receive the dignity that some of them did not even get to live long enough to experience. Thank you so much for joining Trending Tuesdays on today. And again, to you, Attorney Beck, happy Veterans Day to you as well. If you're in the comments, you're on virtually, let's give it up once again for our veterans. We owe it to them. They've given they've given their lives. They put their lives out on the line for us, right? How many people do you know will put their lives out on the line for you? They don't even know you, but they believe in what our country stands for. They believe in the freedoms, and we have to have someone standing on the distant shores to make sure that what we're doing here in the homeland is protected. So to you again, we thank you, veterans. Thank Danette Davis and the ensemble for that work.
Yes, absolutely.
We do thank them. But today, we're dealing with the fact that, while they served, veterans today are still not receiving the honor, the treatment, the resources that they should.
No, they're
today.
not. Today.
Right? And there is still some disparities based on color.
Oh, yes.
As well. We have with us, joining us, the author of a book that's entitled Black Soldiers, White Laws. Let's welcome him today to Trending Tuesdays.
Thank you very much. I
Thank you
appreciate
so
the
much
invitation.
for joining us today. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can now.
Great. Go ahead and tell the people who you are and why you wrote this powerful book.
My name is John Heyman, and I am a 21-year Army veteran and a conflict historian by academic focus. I went off and got history degrees after the Army. And I was setting out to write a completely different book, and this entire story was just going to be one small chapter in that other book. And the clemency petition had gotten underway without me knowing about it. And Drew Brennerbeck contacted me and asked if I would be willing to help as a historian. And following her lead and realizing how much she had uncovered from an understanding of military law that had never been looked at before with this case, I realized that there was a completely different story here. And Drew and I, as Army veterans ourselves, very quickly saw this as, this was modern soldiers advocating for soldiers 100 years ago, men who were not honored, not respected, and not given justice by their country. And we felt that that was an injustice that was long overdue, that needed the country to look at again. So that's the reason for the book.
What you penned, what difference do you think it will make to a reader today?
The first is that the past is never truly past, and people are never forgotten as long as their names are spoken again. And for too long, those men's stories were either trapped in other people's mouths and they weren't given the opportunity to speak for themselves, or their stories were told with someone else's agenda. You know, they were presented as mutineers, as a rabble of undisciplined soldiers who attacked a civilian community without provocation. And as Drew and I found in our research, none of that was true. And it was time to return the narrative to the truth of it and to give those men a chance for their words to finally be heard in their own voices, using the letters that they wrote and the stories that were told in their families. And one of the things that I hope that a reader today would get from the book is that it's never too late to try to correct an old injustice. It's never too late to try to correct an old mistake.
Wow, that is so powerful. Thank you so much for those words. I think that should be another chapter, another book coming forward. Before we wrap up, you know, I'd like to just share a little bit about the story of the 24th Infantry Regiment, as it reminds us that the cost of freedom has not been paid equally, yet it has been paid faithfully by every soldier who believed in a better tomorrow. Would you agree with that, Mr. Heyman?
Absolutely. With all parts of that, I think that is a very eloquent expression of what these men gave, and they gave selflessly quite often without being recognized and without even the depth of their commitment to the country being honored or acknowledged. And yet they stood their turn in the line. They did their time in the ranks. Even though the country was never willing back then to accept them as fully enfranchised citizens, they still put their lives on the line every day.
Oh, wow. So we lift our voices together, remembering the strength, that our strength is not in our sameness, because they were not the same exactly, but it's in our unity. Thank you, because I believe your story, the work of Attorney Beck and all of those who worked on this project with her to make the real truth be heard, I believe they're helping to unify our country even today when we have such divisiveness amongst us. Coming back to you, Miss Celeste. You know the story, and we don't want to share all the story, but do you believe that the docufilm actually is going to help to unify us the more, even though these men experienced such an indignant, dishonorable end of their life and career?
I do. I think that the work was worth it. The writing of the play, the pulling together the film, the touring all those years, that is the intent, is that this story, this American story, will be able to stay out there, because Black history is American history. So I do believe that it'll make a difference. And now that we have this exoneration, the great work that Dr. Heyman and Drew did, now we have that piece. When I first wrote it, I had no idea that the men would ever be exonerated. You know, I just went forth and did my part, and they have done their part. And so now the men have been exonerated, and that is a part of the story.
Tell me to calm down. I'm sick of this shit. I'm a soldier of the United States Army, and damn it, I aim to be treated like one. Hey, what happened? Shut up! One civilian flashed a blank piece of paper at him and walked right in and killed him. Oh, they didn't play. Y'all gonna play stuff for my place. One time, one of them baseball team passes a blank piece of paper. Then he gonna stand there grinning at me like I'm a dummy.
Selfie says we're not supposed to worry about checking their IDs anymore, so I just ignore them, Moses.
Well, I ain't ignoring it no more. The next one pull a trick like that on me, getting a bullet.
Hey, you wanna fool around, find yourself court martial. Look who's talking. You tried to make a white national guard. We salute you last night.
Try? Hell, I made him salute. And the next thing I knew, I was being hauled off to city jail.
Us soldiers ain't supposed to go to city jail. The MP's supposed to handle it.
Yeah.
Well, I was handling it. But you kept running off at the mouth, right? So yeah, I let him take you down. What?
And they bring us back to camp in them damn paddy wagons. The MP's supposed to bring us back. But the MPs ain't worth their way to cat shit in this town.
Hey, no. Let him talk. Let that nigga talk. That's all he good for anyway. Is running off at the mouth. I'll show you what I'm good for. Oh, we do the best we can out there with no weapons. And no respect. Damned if we do, damned if we don't. I can't even back a weapon to handle military business, but something just got through blowing me out. Because I didn't stop some colored civilians from jumping a white man. And I'm supposed to do that with my bare hands. Then I gotta come back to barracks and then you niggas run up at the mouth.
I know it's just this town. It's just this hot southern town. Guidi, I thought you said this town's okay. It is okay. There's plenty of color here. Yeah, but they all act like slaves. Also, this old color man downtown. He's standing in the middle of the street getting cussed out by some young white girl. I mean, she talking to him like he got a tail. All because he dropped some packages he was carrying for. Well, no, Mavis did say ever since we hit town, the colors hit and started speaking up something for themselves. Well, they need to do something. Well, I hope I ain't here next weekend. Shit, I put in for a 3-day pass to my home. Hey, Mo, why don't you grab Selena while she's still in town and come and go with me and me? No, I got my feel of Texas. I ain't gonna be up there too long. I just want to go and check on my baby sister and walk around the old homestead. Ain't nobody living up at the old place no more. It used to be 8 of us children. 2 boys and 6 girls. But
we're gonna bring on Danette Davis now to close us out. Let's give it up for Danette Davis, the lady with the vision, the lady who ensures that we don't focus on the pain that division is called, but we focus on the promise that unity can bring.
Thank you, guest. I want to personally thank the 3 of you that are in the studio, Celeste, and my 2 veterans who we so honor you tonight. We are appreciative, and to the other veterans in the room, we are appreciative. Thank you for your service. For the veterans that are also online, I want you to bring them up, please, one more time, because we want them to have if there's one word you want to say. We went through a lot to make sure that we got to you. That book that's written, John, and the work that you did. I mean, I don't know if you guys are humble. I mean, this stuff took years. Where are they? Can we get them on? I mean, I'm on now, but you can split the screen and put them up, please. Who's still up? I mean, is John and Drew still up?
I'm still here.
Okay. I want to thank you. You like Celeste. You guys are storytellers. See, somebody's got to write it down. You know what I'm saying? We can talk about this all day long, but see, when you have to remember a story, you remember it the way you want to remember it or the way somebody else, but you guys wrote it down. And Drew, I want to thank you so much. You know, this lady, I don't know, she was lead attorney. She's a bad woman, and she's being all humble. She got it done. This guy's got clemency. We're talking about 100 years and counting. This was 1917.
Yeah.
And they just got clemency in what, 2003, 4? I mean, 2023, 4. They just got it, man. We're an interesting country, right? But then, you know, we God fearing, and we know that sometimes those wheels turn slowly, but they turn and they get it done. So I wanted you, please, if you got some parting words. Now, John, now you have a book. So, you know, we talked about with your agent bringing you back and doing a book signing because we want everybody to know that story. And it needs to be flying off the shelves like all the other books that are #1 sellers and stuff. There are historians who would really love to know that story. You know, a lot of people in Houston don't realize Memorial Park and Camp Logan are synonymous.
Yep.
They don't realize, they didn't know that they're looking at Memorial Park. But I'm gonna tell you something, there's a little bitty sign. So I went checking, Celeste. That Camp Logan sign is there. If you go there, you read it, it's not real big, but it says, this is Camp Logan, and the story is there. And it's been there. You know, reading is fundamental. Am I right? They say a lot of times, just put it down, write it down, put it in a book, and people, you know what I'm saying? But we're saying that's not true. We're here to tell the story. And if you would, please, to me, you guys are a national story. And you're not even known here in Houston, and is where this happened. It reminds me, I know he's off the line now, the commissioner, but he's right about George Floyd. I took that so personal. That man was from Houston, you know? And so we put a statue in Houston, which is where he's from, which is what we should do. We should care enough to do it. We do it. You see, you don't have the rest of the nation, and this is our home in our own backyard, right? So we're doing the same thing. We welcome you. We thank you. And I don't know that either one of you are from Houston, but you saw the need and you got it done. And we want to thank you again. And I'd like for you, Drew and Mr. Hammond, if you, first of all, like I said, your book, if you want to pitch your book, you know, please do. And tell us, I know we can get it, on Amazon and all those places, but you may want to say just a little bit about it. And Drew, if you could close for us a little bit, just a little bit. She's a tough, y'all need to see her resume. She's a bad woman. Okay. And I was thinking about, you know, when you watched on television and I can't think of the favorite show, but when you think about the service and the folk that are police, you know, Jose, you were police, but you were police. She's a police. You know, JAG, I think it is. You know, we just see that on TV. We don't meet JAG officers and stuff very often. So good to meet you. But Mr. Hammond, if you could, and then if you, Drew, will just close us out, and we'll do the last plug, and then we'll celebrate here in the studio, and we'll thank you and see you again real soon.
Thank you very much, because this gives me the chance to do something I've wanted to do publicly for a very long time, which is to say thank you to Drew. Yes. Drew did the lion's share of the work. Drew did more research than I've ever seen another single human being do. When I was struggling to get the book written, Drew kept me going at the times that I was ready to quit and give up, thinking that the clemency would never happen and that there was no point to going on.
Oh, wow.
Were it not for Drew, none of this would have come to be. And the book I wrote would have been a far, far poor example of history. So, Drew, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, look at Drew humble. Come on, Drew.
Well, I will plug the book. It's very well written, and it's based on all of our original research. And I think what's important is to realize even just the first one of these cases was the largest criminal trial and the largest court-martial in U.S. history. And to round that out, the clemency action granted by the United States Army was the largest clemency action ever in Army history. Right. We asked the Army to look at our clemency petition in light of its values of loyalty and courage, and they did so. And John and I were committed to the Army fixing an injustice that the Army had perpetrated 100 years ago. And I think for us, the tangible results of our work are that all 110 soldiers had their convictions overturned. They have been issued honorable discharges
Thank
in
you.
the Army records. And if you go to the cemetery at Fort Sam Houston, where 17 of the 19 soldiers who were executed in 1917 and 1918 are buried, they no longer have headstones that omit their ranks and their service.
Right.
We had a ceremony in 2024 where the Veterans Administration replaced their headstones with the standard military headstones for those soldiers. So now they lie with their comrades from World War I with the same honors as those soldiers.
What a job. What do y'all say?
Good
Is she
job.
fantastic or what? We thank you. We thank you for your service and for your work. And Celeste, you capturing this story, and you wrote it how many years ago?
1989. How many years?
Celeste wrote
is
this
that?
story a long time. And for this to marry, to me, it's full circle. And the three of you, to me, you're the ending, true ending to her story. Thank you. We're gonna play one more, and we'll see you soon. Thank you, John. And we do want you to come and visit, and we can push your book.
Anytime. I'd love to.
Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, and for you in the room, we're gonna do one last clip. So take a gander at one last scene, and we'll close for the night. Thank you again. I'm Jeanette with K. Davis in the Community. Check us out online and support. I'm ready, Avery.
Franciscus, come back here. Arrest these men. I'll see it goes easy on you.
You're wasting your breath, boy!
Kenny, we've been through a lot together. There's one career man to another.
One man to another. You ain't never seen me as no man. You done told me that in all kinds of ways. All these years. Colored soldiers that took seconds in everything. Food, equipment, supplies, while you white boys got the best. But we took it. Because we always figured the day was coming. We get a chance to prove ourselves to the world. Not to you, to the world. Well, that day done come. We marching out of here tonight. We gonna meet that mob head on. Yeah! Head on!
And we're finally gonna see some action. And the first one I want to run into is that white conductor. McKinney, you go marching these men out of here looking to harm white civilians.
We don't harm no white civilians. We're after them civil police. They ain't give us nothing but problems since we come here.
You be finished in the army?
I'm already finished in this white man's army. Stand up. We all is. We marching on this town tonight. We gonna show them colors how to stand up. And we going straight down to that police station and wipe out all those no good police.
Hey,
we gonna set all the colored people free.
I'm ready to go to town and get to work. I mean, y'all are crazy. You never make it.
We'll make it.
Well, what about me? Well, you go marching these men out of here. What do you think the brass is going to do to me?
The brass? Should have got rid of your ass a long time ago. The other officers talk about you behind your back. You are drunk 18 hours out of the day. You sloppy, undisciplined, a disgrace to that uniform. And yet, the Army see fit to send the likes of you to France.
So there. This is how you prove yourselves, huh? You know, you wouldn't catch white troops doing this. But then again, I always knew you niggers couldn't make the grade.
Let me put a bullet in and shut his goddamn talk.
McKinney.
Kill the son of a bitch. Kill the bitch.
McKinney!
Don't listen to him, Sarge. Put a bullet in him.
Let me mow him down. McKinney, remember the Philippines.
I remember the Philippines. I remember how you hid in your office while my men had their backs against the wall. That's how I remember it. Time up! Come on. Come on, yeah. Oh, sweet mother Jesus. You brought your gun. It's not your fault. He was going for his gun. Mother God. All right. Keep your hands. Get a grip.
Maybe you should just throw yourself on the mercy of Colonel Dick.
Mercy?
Plain name
Boy! I done killed an officer. There ain't no mercy. There ain't no mercy on this earth. And that goes for all of us. We're all in this together. Stand by your race. Yes, sir. Make sure you got plenty of ammo. Keep the canteens full. We're going to be on the move now. We get through this, we'll head on down to Mexico. So, I'll say it now. You're a good bunch of men. Real soldiers. Regulars. And I am proud to stand with you. Moses, you take the point. Sir. Willie, you bring up the rear. Sir. And any other coward that ain't with us is against us. Hey, Sarge, you're out here. All right, get your guns. Remember, shoot the street lights as we go. We mean business. Save a bullet or your cash. Who you think you're going? I'm going with the rest of it. No, you ain't. You I'm going with the color. No.